Hello, hello, and welcome back to another thrilling installment of All Influencer Wrestling. I am your clout missioner, Captain Tyrion's Guide Al, the most definitely handsome pirate in all of professional wrestling.
Making her way to the ring from San Salvador, El Salvador, Llarona.
Making her way down for our opening match to greet a new debuting clout chaser, Llarona. The aura, the mystique, the fire. But, knowing what I do about our first debuting clout chaser, if there is anyone who is going to counter Llarona when it comes to sheer showmanship, sheer stage presence, it's going to be our newest clout chaser. We have a packed card for you tonight, but first up, here we go. We have never had a competitor sing their own way down to the ring. Allow me to introduce Her Royal Highness, the Ginger Flame, she who sings on the graves of her enemies. You may also know her as the Opera Geek. We are making sure to give her all of her full titles because I don't want to find out what happens if I don't. Battle of sheer stage presence. Her Royal Highness, the Ginger Flame, taking down Llarona. Llarona, though, immediately picking the Ginger Flame up and sandbagging her around the ring. Rolling out of the way. And neckbreaker down. Her Royal Highness, the Ginger Flame, she who sings on the grave of her enemies, taking control over the match at this point, choking out Llarona. If there is anyone who knows about effective breath control, it's an opera singer. Llarona powering out, staggering back to her feet, locking up. Sending the Ginger Flame catapulting to the outside, but bouncing right back up, basking in the adulation of the crowd. That's an opera singer for you. And Llarona just driving the boot into the gut. Down into the shoulder. Llarona apparently not an opera fan. Sending Ginger Flame back into the ring. Who now is just hyping up, waiting, baiting Llarona, just saying, "Come at me." The Ginger Flame putting the boots in herself, but countered by Llarona. just punching blows as Ginger Flame gets the arms up to try to block. And gut punches to break that grapple attempt there. Llarona definitely not giving our new challenger any room to breathe there. And pouncing and again wailing into the head. And a taunt attempt there, I think, by Llarona, but the Ginger Flame up on her feet and up, carrying Llarona around the way she has carried so many performances in her time. Wrenching the shoulder down. Her Royal Highness back in control. And up and over. Going up to the top rope is the Ginger Flame. What does she have in mind? And big moonsaults to Llarona. Kicks out at 2. Charging into the corner, not letting up at all. And dropping Lllarona's face onto the boot of the Ginger Flame there. And stomp, a retaliation for those head strikes, dropping that vicious boot, and the disrespect of the stepping over before driving the knees into the gut. And just strutting around, letting out the cry. Another set of knees into the side of Llarona. The Ginger Flame is just enjoying herself at this point. And up onto the shoulders. Can Llarona power out? Dropped to the mat. Rolling out to the ring to recover, Ginger Flame not giving even a moment, slides out of the ring directly after Llarona. And again, draping into the sole of the boot, but kip up by Llarona, directly though into another strike by our Ginger Flame. And there once again, choking the air out of Llarona. Look at the grin on the face of the Ginger Flame here. She is just loving this. Llarona punching her way out, desperately needs to get some momentum back in this match. Hurls Ginger Flame back into the ring. What does she have in mind as she stalks around? Definitely favoring an injured leg there, it seems. Charges through. Caught, though, by the Ginger Flame, who makes her way back into the ring. Just waiting for Llarona to follow back in. Grapple lock up and overhead suplex by Her Royal Highness. Llarona, though, able to dodge out of the way of that grapple, but caught. Leg drag, spinning out, and still has her through. Really working that injured leg now. The limb manipulation here by Her Royal Highness. Absolutely dominant in this debut match. And look at that chop, and over she goes. The overture landed. Llarona looks out. That stage positioning from our Ginger Flame paying dividends, realizing that Llarona was potentially in position for a rope break, moving her into the center of the ring, and enough for the 3 count. A dominant performance by Her Royal Highness, the Ginger Flame, she who sings on the graves of her enemies. Definitely starting out as she means to go on. Quite the impressive performance by our new prima donna. However, the debuts roll on. Tag team action is up next after these quick messages. We will be right back. Hi, I'm Captain Turiant Guidel, most dashingly handsome pirate in all of Lumsalaminta, and the Clout Missioner of all influencer wrestling. As a swashbuckling pirate, I know a thing or two about hats. And sometimes, even I feel the hats I own are just too big. So when I feel the need for minuscule millinery, there's only one place that comes to mind. TinyHatLabs.com. Tiny Hat Labs have always sought to push the boundaries of what's possible in client engagement millinery feedback solutions. Their guiding question remains the same today as it was when they were founded. What if small hat, but tiny? Operating at the nexus of science, engineering, artificial intelligence, art, fashion and design, Tiny Hat Labs seeks to pave the way to a paradigm shift in headpiece technology. While others ask, how much? TinyHatLabs.com asks, how little? I'm Captain Turiant Guidel, and TinyHatLabs.com is my favourite place for hats on the internet. And we are back for Tornado Tag Team action.
The following contest is a Tornado Tag Team match. Introducing first, representing Team Bring It, from parts unknown, weighing in at 169 pounds, Rage.
Charging his way to the ring, the diminutive ball of rage that is Avric Brightman. In action with his friend companion Tiff, who made his debut last week here in All Influencer Wrestling. Tiff did not have the best of luck in his opening match. Will teaming with his friend Avric change his fortunes?
Partner from overseas, weighing in at 215 pounds.
Tiff having the time of his life, making his way down to the ring. A definite personality difference between these two, but lifelong friends. They know each other extremely well. We'll find out how well that gels inside of the squared circle. If nothing else, it is incredibly impressive how Tiff is able to perform those splits in those leather pants. Trust me, that is not an easy move to pull off. And their opponents, another set of debuting wrestlers.
weight of 428 pounds.
Introducing Bob and Hank, the Dastardly Duwu. Avric definitely feeling a little out of place in this match, I feel. These two more in a vibe with Tiff. Our one-eyed paladin definitely seeming like a fish out of water in the ring with these three. And of course this match is under tornado tag rules, so all four competitors are legal at the same time. Tiff, I'm not sure if he's trying to wrench the arm there or steal the glove. It could be either way, knowing Tiff. Tiff and Avric currently in control. Avric taking a moment to bait his opponent in there. I have to be entirely honest, I'm not sure which is Hank and which is Bob. Knee breaker there from Tiff, and Avric with the show of strength. The Dastardly Duwu rolling out of the ring. Avric following Tiff going up top, and giant strike from the top. Tiff going flying, whilst Avric chokes out the other on the ring there, the side of the ring there with that neck breaker. Strike knee from Tiff. Tiff and Avric really dividing and conquering here. Oh, both. Oh, and Tiff just throwing his opponent up the ramp. Rather uncharacteristically going away from the spotlight and locking in the figure four leg lock there from Tiff, trying to go for that submission on the outside. Not going to count, however. Needs to get the pinfall or submission inside the ring. Fancy head scissor takedown there. Tiff paying no attention to Avric having the momentum shifted against him and is just playing to the crowd there on the ramp. Avric, though, able to escape. Oh, and there we have a crossface locked in by Tiff, just choking out his opponent there, who is able to roll through. Meanwhile, in the ring, Avric still in control. Bob on the outside, getting back DDTs Tiff into the ramp. And Avric power slamming his opponent down to the mat. But Tiff seemingly out cold on the ramp now. Avric and Hank still going at it in the middle of the ring. Bob potentially going to try and assist Hank with Avric. Takes one look at the rage that is Avric and thinks better of it. Goes back to Tiff. Big over-knee slam by Bob. Meanwhile, Avric is just getting his arms wrenched in the middle of the ring by Hank. Goes for the pinfall. Avric powers out at 2. We essentially have 2 separate matches going on right now. There's action in the ring and action on the ramp. Hoist Avric up onto the top rope. What does Hank have in mind here? Up and just throwing Avric down, but that did quite a bit of damage to Hank as well. Avric already back up. And up, and holds, and there goes the Serenray slam with Bob preoccupied with Tiff. Is that going to do it? It is. realizing far too late what has happened to his partner. Bob does not make it in time to break up that pinfall. Avric and Tiff with the victory. Bit of a reverse of usual strategy there. Tiff seemingly playing the tank, the punching bag role in there, gave enough of a distraction for Avric to hit that Serenray slam for the 3 count. Tiff's fortunes turning around thanks to his friend. We finally, though, between these two, do have the formation of a tag team division starting here in All Influencer Wrestling. Who is going to join? Who is going to step to either of these two teams in future? It'll be very interesting to find out. But the action here continues to roll on. We'll be right back with more high-impact clout-chasing action after these quick messages.
Luz tried everything to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Hammers, axes, magic, saws, more magic, fire, even more magic, and magic explosions. Still, the door refused her. Why? After all this time and effort, why wouldn't the damn thing open? Sure, it was an enchanted door that would open the path to a potentially catastrophic amount of magic pouring back into the universe, causing endless natural disasters that would drown or bury most cities from existence. But there was an equally high chance that wouldn't happen, and that the magic had been sealed away by ignorant fools for nothing. She had to believe there was a reason why she could tap into a sliver of the magic locked behind the door. That this was it, her singular life purpose. Open the door, restore its magic back to everyone like it used to be in the stories, where anyone could use magic, for good or bad. That had to be it, right? That had to be why she was standing here, in the door's pocket dimension, on a small plot of earth, large enough for only one person to stand in front of it, swearing at this void black door with iridescent veins flowing along its surface like water, living, taunting her to just open it already. So why was it so hard to swing the damn thing wide? Somehow, she had shoved the door apart just a crack ages ago. A thin, wispy line of light seeped out of a seam down the centre. Whenever she used teleportation magic, as she had decided to call it since she didn't know the correct term and hadn't seen others use it before, probably because it was dangerous and required sliding through space and time, but who was counting? She tapped into a sliver of warmth and power to travel wherever she wished. She'd managed that slight opening unthinking as a child, then never again. What was she doing wrong now? Worse, what if she wasn't doing anything wrong? What if this door wasn't meant to open for her after all? What else could there be for her but this? After everything, after all that searching, what else could there be?
This has been an extract from The Void Door by V.M. Ayala. To read the full story, please visit beneath-ceaseless-skies.com and search for issue 378. And thank you for watching Masterpiece Theatre.
Welcome back once again to a match which is going to have significant repercussions for the future of one of our Sold Clout champions.
Introducing first, from Avalon, weighing in at 150 pounds, the Action Champion, The Dream.
Both of our Sold Clout champions are in action in this mixed match. Abel Therron teaming up with Mary. Glyx teaming up with a returning Renaise Crimson. Whichever of these teams wins their partner will get a shot at the opponent's team's Sold Clout Championship. Mary or Renaise, one of these two will get a shot at that clout. She's been proving herself an effective tag partner in recent weeks. Will that be able to continue through for our Druid Princess? Of course, both sides of this potential equation have had some experience in title matches before. Mary unable to quite put away Glyx at Clash for Charity, and Renaise losing the Sold Clout Championship to Abel. Both very, very eager for another shot at clout. You have to wonder in this match though, how is the fallout from Clash for Charity still weighing on the mind of Renaise Crimson after that assault backstage by his potentially now former friend Chris Caneas, who held Renaise at least partially responsible for the injuries sustained by Stephen Joyce during that event. He needs to put such thoughts out of his head and focus if he wants that shot at the Soul Clout Championship once again. Basking it in his conflict with the golden ticket, now firmly in the rearview mirror, he has returned his focus to Championship Clout. Of course, this is not the only contendership match we have tonight. Following this, Aria Nightvalley will be meeting Candy Holiday in the ring in a submission match, the winner of which will challenge the victor of our main event for their newly won $1 Shillion Championship next week. If there's anyone who can match the glow of Renaise, it's our Soul Clout champion, Glyx.
Prestigious International Champion, the Superstar.
The weight of the clout hangs heavy around the hips of Glyx. But she says it suits her. She deserves that clout. She needs that clout. It's all about that clout, and she is not in any hurry to give any of that up to anyone. Abel and Renaise will be starting off the match. As a reminder, the rules of this match: once a team tags, the other team has to switch partners as well. Renaise will only face off against Abel, Mary will only face off against Glyx. Battle of the Druids round 2. If Renaise even gives Abel a chance to tack in, Renaise, very, very dominant showing. Abel, though, as I say that, able to power through. Renaise ducks the attempt at the counter kick and drives Abel's face down into the mat. Abel, though, dodging out of the way of that backsplash attempt by Renaise. And big swinging DDT by the Dreamer, going for the pin very early on. Glyx diving in to save the match for her team. Big kicks there by Renaise. Of course, with the way this particular match is constructed, there is a possibility that the winning team will score a victory by one of our champions getting pinned. And up, and Mary, a show of strength there, hoisting Glyx up. I think perhaps balancing her on one of those antlers for the little extra support. Look at the squats. The gluteal strength of Mary. And hoisting up and over the shoulders once again. Big drop kick, but Glyx saw that coming. Dodged out of the way. Big strike to the back of Glyx. Mary out with something to prove here tonight, and slamming the tailbone of Glyx down into the mat, going for the pinfall. Glyx able to kick out at 1. The mindset that goes into the eventual championship match from this, if one of the champs gets pinned, cannot be understated. If Mary were to pin Glyx to then earn a championship shot against her, that would be a significant mental advantage going into that match. Same with Renaise and Abel. Back elbow from Glyx, trying to get back into this match. Driving, and there's that striking offense of Glyx that has seen her not only capture but hold on to that Sold Clout Championship. Big spear, though, from Mary. Taking a moment to just kick dirt back over Glyx. A moment of sheer disrespect, and Glyx makes her pay for it. Drop kick off the top rope. Slamming Mary down, going for the pinfall. Abel, seeing Renaise coming in to save it, tried to divert, didn't need it though. Mary kicking out at 2. Glyx, there she backed up for that chromatic kick, the big roundhouse we've seen. But Renaise able to get in there, and actually no, Renaise definitely not saving that, because that would be his team. Mary just able to power out of that, I think. And here we have the tag, Abel and Renaise now locking up, giving both Mary and Glyx a much needed chance to recover. Mary just rolling out to maybe take a nap on the outside of the ring as Renaise got those kicks in, but Abel's height working to his advantage, able to be under there. Oh, interesting, Renaise bounced Abel off to the apron where his own tag partner got knocked off as a result. Big overhead dive by Renaise. Did almost as much damage to him as it did to Abel there, I think. That looked like a very painful landing on the ship's decking there. I felt that in my tail. Renaise manipulating the limbs of Abel. Utilizing that ship's decking to his advantage. Though he needs to get this action back in the ring before too terribly much longer. Hoisting Abel up onto his shoulders. What does Renaise have in mind here? Slams Abel into the ship's decking. As the ref's count reaches 8. throws Abel up. Is Renaise going for the count-out victory? I think that may be exactly what he's doing. Ref's count meets 9. Abel needs to sprint back into this ring. Can he make it? Barely. Abel barely making that 10 count. That was almost a loss, and nothing Mary could have done to prevent that. Abel nursing those probably now bruised ribs as Mary and Glyx lock up once again. Those knees of Glyx driven straight into the gut of Mary. Glyx now taking the moment to do a little bit of a taunt. Mary making her suffer for it, strikes straight into the spine, sends Glyx into the turnbuckle. And up and over, bouncing off of the ring post there. Though Glyx bouncing right back up, very dodging out of the way of that strike, returning with one of her own. Big swinging discus lariat by Mary. Glyx is down, and interesting choice of a moment to tag there. Abel back in. Rather than capitalizing on the damage done to Glyx there, Mary deciding to give Abel a shot and gets a scoop slam from Renaise for it. Hyping up the crowd, what does Crimson have in mind here? Hoists Abel Therron up to the shoulders, and big back slam. Following through for the pinfall. Therron looks like he may be out, but Mary able to get in there and break up the pinfall. This perhaps may be the strategy Mary was going for, with Glyx stunned on the outside. If Abel can get the momentum in his favor and get a pin predicament on Renaise, Glyx in no position to counter that right now. That may well be a solid strategy from our Druid Princess. Glyx, though, seemingly now recovered, making her way back to the ring post, not able to get Renaise down in time. The athleticism of Abel Therron really on full display, but the sheer constitutional strength of Renaise Crimson not keeping him down for long. Therron goes for the pinfall. Crimson kicks out at 2. And there we have again that big draping DDT we have seen so many times from the Dreamer, following up with a swift kick to the spine. Going through another, trying to really damage the back of Renaise Crimson, who just kips back up. I think Therron was going for a tag there. Crimson caught him. Oh, big pile driver by Renaise Crimson straight onto the neck. Dreamer able to kick out, still at the 2 count. Mary not needing to get in there to make up the pin. A little bit of a slow entry to the ring there by Mary. She may be feeling a little winded herself. Oh, and here we go. Oh, Therron able to counter that suplex attempt by Crimson. And there's the tag. It's our Druid off once again. Mary gingerly making her way back into the ring. I think Mary may be nursing an injury. Kicks back, sending Glyx down to the ring. Crimson hauling his way back up. Glyx sending Mary into the ropes. Ducks under, and Mary barging through, shoulder checking Glyx. Big backhand elbow there by Glyx, trying to knock the stuffing out of her Druid compatriot. Going back for the tag. Crimson tagged. It is Renaise and Abel back in the ring, legal again. Abel trying to go for a charge maneuver there and just bouncing off of the wall of flesh that is Renaise Crimson. Took a big body blow into the corner. Pulls him back up. What does Therron have in mind? Big head scissors takedown. Renaise looks stunned. Mary slowly making her way into the ring. Glyx, though, charging, able to break up the pinfall before Mary can intercept. Continuing to target the spine of Renaise Crimson. Abel Therron going for the tag. Therron and Mary working fairly well as a tag team in this match. Crimson and Glyx not so much. But there we have, out of nowhere, able to kick out. Mary just able to power out. That's what we've seen from Glyx so many times before. Those quick bursts of offense out of nowhere to just put an opponent down. Running knee strike straight to the head of Mary, who is absolutely feeling that now. What does Glyx have in mind? I think we've got there again, that big running kick. That may well be it. But no, Therron distracting the ref. Enough time for Mary to roll out and recover. Therron saving the match for Mary there. Kips up on the outside. There's again that spear sending Glyx down to the ship's decking. Excellent teamwork by Abel, Therron and Mary. What does she have in mind here? Sends Glyx stumbling into the ring steps, over bouncing off of the rival announce table, and big leg drop from Mary. Slicing Glyx's neck down between that wooden decking on the outside. That had to hurt. Sends Glyx back into the ring. Baited Crimson off the outside. I think Therron may potentially have tried to go around for a distraction there. Mary definitely has something in mind. Stalks up, and I think we're going to go see. There she is. She has locked in the... Can she turn it through? She has that sharpshooter locked in. Is Glyx going to tap out? Renaise trying to make his way through. Therron, oh, barely. Therron tried to prevent Renaise from interfering. Unfortunately for his team, did not make it quite in time. Kick to the gut from Glyx. And bouncing off the top rope, big flying elbow to the face of Mary. But Glyx has had enough, sending Renaise back into the ring, potentially hoping that Renaise will take advantage of that stunning strike delivered to Mary. Going for a big kick there, Renaise able to block. Clubbing blow sends Therron down to the ring apron, or the mat. Having to crawl his way back up, Renaise locking him into the turnbuckle there, just putting all of his weight onto the chest of Abel Therron. Oh, and crashing down, the ribs of Therron cracking. Crimson has something in mind. Mary is down and out on the outside. This may well be the end of it. He tried to go for this earlier. Therron able to power out. Did not get it this time. Pile driver by Renaise Crimson. Therron staring up at the lights. I think that may be... No! Therron miraculously able to power out. Only a 2 count after that. That is why he is one of our Soul Clout champions. And the resiliency of Abel Therron giving Mary time to recover on the outside. Swinging DDT, sending Crimson down to the mat. Therron fired up. Too close to his opponent's corner there, Glyx. Not even needed. Crimson still able to kick out at one. Therron now in control. Oh, had a bit of indecision there as to which corner to try and drag Crimson to. Really bit Therron there. That gave Renaise enough time to recover and power his way out. Ducks down and jump over. And there he goes, up and planting face first into the mat. Oh, rolling through though, into a roll-up. Mary, I think, may have misunderstood who had the pin there. I think Mary tried to distract the referee without realizing it was Therron who had Renaise's shoulders down and not the other way around. Big move off the top rope. That may well be it unless Glyx can save it, and she can. Ring positioning not quite ideal there for Abel Therron. Glyx able to get that boot in and break up the pin. Oh, Renaise got the knees up on that splash attempt there by Therron, and Renaise back in control. Elbowing his own partner off. The teamwork from Crimson and Glyx, borderline non-existent. Renaise having no care for the fact that Glyx was there on the apron. He was going to bounce off of that ring, and he did not care who got in the way. What? I think... I'm not entirely certain what the ref pulled there. Getting upset with Mary being into the ring too long, I think. Had enough of the interferences, the ref calling for the end of the match. Nobody is going to be happy about that. Disqualifying Mary. Interesting call by the ref. I don't think Ren is going to be happy with winning that way, and Mary is certainly not going to be happy to have had the match end that way. Technically, that does, though, award the victory to Renaise and Glyx, meaning next week Renaise and Abel Therron will be meeting for that Sold Clout Championship. But Mary not going to take that lying down, I am certain. But speaking of championship opportunities, next up, we have two very, very solid competitors really proving themselves in recent weeks. Aria Nightvalley meets Candy Holiday in a submission match. The winner will be the #1 contender for whoever wins our $1 Shillion Championship later on tonight. We'll be right back with that match after these quick messages. Suplex the train! Himbo power! Come on. Need to pop more potions. Meteor strike! Oh, I can't suplex... Oh, yeah, that's right. I can suplex a train, but I can't suplex an octopus. And here is our octopus friendo. Can I suplex an octopus? Nope. Can't suplex an octopus, turns out. Too slippery. Can I suplex Ultima Weapon? So going to start chucking some shuriken. I can suplex Ultima Weapon. Come on, we're so close. Lift, come on, Sabin. Come on. Suplex! Boom! Hippo power! Welcome back to our second #1 contenders match of the evening. Our fleeing Fae princess, Aria Nightvalley. Aria really being a very dominant force here in All Influencer Wrestling of late. She has very much positioned her as a solid choice for the #1 contender for that championship. The only thing in her way now is Candy Holiday. No pinfalls or countouts in this match. Only a submission. They are going to have to really push for that championship opportunity. they will have to inflict so much pain on their opponent, they tap out. A match stipulation which may arguably favour Lady Nightvalley, given that she has proven herself to be quite the technical specialist in the ring in her time here in AIW. Candy Holiday usually more of a strike-based offense, but still a very adaptable competitor. Certainly nobody to be counted out. Here she comes. She still has an eye on that $1 million championship as a great biker gauntlet. Remember, of course, Candy Holiday got knocked out of the $1 million championship by countout. A situation which she is not going to be very happy about and eager to get a proper chance. You have to imagine that should she win this match, Candy will arguably be wanting Lucette to knock off Jenneth later on tonight for a chance at retribution for how she went out of that tournament. Aria watching on from ringside. And we're off. Candy trying to go for one of those strikes I was talking about, but Aria using the height to her advantage, able to lift her up butt and able to plant Candy down into the ring, wearing her like a backpack there. Aria immediately starting to work the leg of Candy Holiday. That is the smart approach in a match like this. You need to pick a limb of your opponent, work it over, weaken it until eventually they can do nothing but tap out as the pain gets too great. Candy able to fight her way out of that chokehold. Big strike into the gut of Aria Nightvalley by Candy Holiday. Aria, though, able to power to her feet, but only into a big clothesline from Candy. Candy still relying so far on that strike-based offense, not really selecting a limb to start working. Countered with a swift kick by Aria Nightvalley. Candy hauling herself up onto the ropes in the corner. What does Nightvalley have in mind? And there again, continuing to work that leg of Candy Holiday. Coiling her into the turnbuckle. Is she going to do the same thing? I think she has the exact same thing in mind. Aria Nightvalley has clearly come into this match with a strategy. Candy able to counter that flurry of offense with a back elbow of her own, and up and a big Superman punch off the top rope. Waiting for Aria to get into a position where she can get that grapple locked in, and another big strike. And raining down those clubbing left-hand blows into the head of Aria Nightvalley. Candy may be attempting to go for a knockout victory with this particular strategy. Boots to the head. And indeed, Candy seemed to be aiming most of these blows at the head of Aria Nightvalley, and there we go again, hoisting her up for a big, quick knee. Plants her down into the mat. Would be a great opportunity for a pinfall in the normal match, but a pin will not end. Aria able to slip away. I think she was going for a crossface there. Aria able to slip out just behind, goes for the neck breaker. Big shots to the chest of Candy Holiday in retaliation from Aria Nightvalley, and just a slap across the face. Backs up, trying to get some space, going for a big spear again. Potentially a great opportunity for a pinning predicament were this a normal match. And there's the strategy starting to come through to fruition though. She's got that leg lock locked in. She's been working that leg of Candy Holiday, and she's got it bridged. The power, the pain that Candy must be in right now. She's in the center of the ring. No chance for a rope break. Can she power through? It is in deep. And she is just barely able to get that out, but that was locked in for a long time. The damage done to the leg of Candy Holiday is immense for as long as she was in that submission hold. Wrenching now the neck, trying to spread out the damage. Aria very much back in control now in this match. Just struts and it calling out to the crowd. The confidence of Aria on full display. She clearly believes she has this match won. But this is the point at which Candy Holiday is at her most dangerous. She cannot afford to get complacent. Big knee down to the face of Candy, potentially changing up her approach. She's been targeting the head of Candy now, perhaps in retaliation. Up to the top. Big splash across the body of Candy. Big high-risk move like that in a submission match, maybe not the most advisable thing to be doing. Will give some damage to your own body as well. Hauling Candy away from the ropes. I think she may be trying to go for it, and she is indeed. She's got that leg lock back in. Can she she's got it locked. Can she bridge? Can she get the bridge in? And she can. She maybe? Yes, she is up. The bridge is locked in. Candy, though, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, I'll punch you in the face. Candy hoisting Aria back up, and go to sleep, Lady Nightvalley. And trying, and there she goes. Is it in? She is. She's got that lock in deep. That work to the throat, to the head of Aria. It's locked in. There's no escape. It's now down to the tenacity of Aria. Able to get those elbow strikes back in. She's able to break away, but now it's her time to have been in that submission for quite a while. The damage on both of these competitors really starting to rack up this deep into the match. Oh, but again, that big wrench to the leg of Candy. Will that figure four leg lock be the key to victory for Our Lady of Winter? Chop, 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 chop. 4 strikes to the chest. Candy able to get up those injured legs, but using her arms and the ropes to assist, able to get enough height on that. Running clotheslines, catches a kick from Aria and sweeps the leg. Candy back in control. Can she capitalize? Exchanging big strikes in the middle of the ring now, and plants Candy down in the mat. I think she rolling back over. Is she aiming up for another figure 4? I think she may be. Oh, Aria going up to the top rope, going for another big splash, but a pin again will not help her. She has to go for that submission victory, and there it is once more for a third time. Locked in, and once again the bridge is in. Middle of the ring, Candy, the third time trapped in this leg lock. She has to at this point give out. Candy taps out. Aria Nightvalley forcing Candy Holiday to tap. Aria will be going on to face the winner of tonight's main event as their first challenger.
Here is your winner, Lady Winter.
This incredible run that Aria Nightvalley has been on of late continues. What a performance by Aria Nightvalley. The action tonight here, though, on All Influencer Wrestling does not give up. We are back again with more tag action as the Dangerous Alliance, who debuted last week, will be back in action for their second match, this time against a newly formed duo of our Assassin-Hunter combination. Valaran Amastacia teams with Presrie to take on the Dangerous Alliance. Next, we'll be right back.
That's how it works,
left,
right?
Like, that's how it works, yeah. Hi, I am Chris Kinnears, aka The Painting Pirate. He can pronouns, variety streamer, miniature painter, all kinds of nonsense. And I am playing Captain Tyrion's Guideowl, the most dashingly handsome pirate in all of Norwood. And it has not escaped my notice that Captain is on Incon Skin's art, but not on mine.
As it
which is
fucking should be, baby.
We are going. That is going to be addressed. That will not let slide.
Let's go. No.
Stop it.
A synthetic twitty.
Okay. So,
No. Stop. You can't do this to us anymore.
You are too powerful.
Alright, that's like too much power right
It's
now.
funnier because the transparent background didn't work.
It's really funny. Best clip, like 90s clip art ever.
No one ever said
No.
graphic art is my passion more.
I know. Holy shit.
So, here's the
Show
deal.
of hands, who can't breathe?
Me.
Alright.
Me. Oh.
Una deal. You would.
Is it hot in here? Is it just me?
Oh yeah. And, Other captain. What was your initiative?
Other captain.
Not other
Primary captain, but 18.
Primary
18.
captain. Primary colors.
Look, before the end of this, it's going to be a PvP fight, and he's going to be an admiral because he's going to start taking people's ships.
Look, he's about... No. Captain Ingon Skin's about to get murked by a Rakshasa. I'm fine. This is a problem that's solving
I don't
itself.
believe you.
It just
Violence.
just kind of
Captain
gives a side
Violence.
glare.
I'm playing both teams. I play all teams. Let's go.
This is you in real life, though, Syrup. This is why I say you should
Yeah, it
be
is.
hot.
Yeah, it is. I think
Don't call
I
me
was
out
about
like
to
the
say.
shortest.
Nope, too late.
I was about to do it anyway. I was coming for you.
I mean, that's why you're claiming you're a captain. You've just got endless ships.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Fucking. Wow.
I would like to give my advantage to Pirate for that one.
I approve.
You are
My fire.
the one.
Desire. I don't know.
Believe.
This next line.
I don't know.
I want it that way.
Tell me why! I'm sorry, I got carried away.
This is the this is legendary action. I know words.
Oh my god. What?
Beautiful.
Who are you and what have you done, Chris?
Oh no, that's definitely Chris.
It's all good, bro. It's all good.
So,
Can I like just step in and just be like, excuse me, somebody actually, there's this small gnome person that just appears, and as I need a moment to react to Pirate right now, it's just like, this is fucking Pulp Fiction, really? Anyway.
Yeah, did anybody see Tyrion with the scroll?
Yeah.
Where did that go?
Where did that go?
like I understand that like there's a union for a y'all actor.
What? Why is there a chat?
I am so happy.
He's a Thordak burner.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
See, you may be the fur holder, but I am the captain. And snaps his fingers
Shut the fuck up.
to disintegrate the fur holder. Welcome back, welcome back. Here they come. The Dangerous Alliance.
Contest is a tag team match set for one fall. On the way to the ring, the Dangerous Alliance.
Last week, a very one-sided performance from this team, not just in their dominance in the ring, but really one member doing most of the work. Will we be in for a more balanced performance this time? Razor, the older sister in this duo, making Callie do most of the work last time. Will that continue through? Or will she actually carry her own weight? But their opponents, Presrie making their way down to the ring. This Death Druid not had the best of luck in AIW so far, teaming up with a fellow dark, mysterious type in Valaran Amastacia tonight. Will these two gel together and be able to knock off the Dangerous Alliance? Valaran Amastacia has proven herself to be a competitor you cannot take your eyes off. Slight of build, she is somebody who you cannot underestimate. She will strike out of nowhere and take her opponent down. We have seen this happen before. And with an ally in the form of Presrie, you have to imagine that will only lead to that quick sneak attack offense from Valaran. And off we go. Calypso, the legal of the two sisters, and just immediately tags out Calypso there as if to say, alright Teresa, I did most of the work last time, this time it's your turn. Presrie hauling Calypso back into the ring, and Calypso getting involved there with a quick strike. Leave my sister alone, as if to say. Presrie definitely out here with something to prove and really working that quick strike to the ankle there. Trying to teach Teresa why maybe it's not the best idea to be in the ring barefoot, immediately going for the pin. Very early on, Teresa kicking out at one. Presrie really with an aggression we've not seen much from her up until now. Definitely out to try to get her fortunes here turned around. Tags in Valaran to go pick up the pieces. Quick knee strike from Amastacia. Look at the athleticism from Valaran there, that mid-air spin. And another tag. These two working quite well together as a team, really isolating Teresa Dominguez, not allowing her to get near her sister in the corner. What does Presrie have in mind? And big double-handed axe blow from the top. Teresa desperate to try and reach Calypso in the corner. Presrie not letting her get close. Wrenching the arm. And Presrie taking a moment, knocking Calypso off the ring apron there. Going maybe for a count-out victory as Teresa is waiting, desperately trying to get back to her senses on the outside. Now Presrie going for the stalk. Teresa trying to make her escape there. And slams Presrie down for her troubles. Presrie, though, able to recover very quickly. Throws Teresa back into the ring. Back up onto the apron. As Teresa is slowly crawling back, and Presrie getting a little overconfident there. Pausing to taunt on the top rope, gave Teresa that moment she so desperately needed. Tagging in Calypso, dodging out of the way of that flying back elbow though, able to make the tag. Valaran and Calypso legal now. Ducks under and a jump vault over. Big flying elbow out of nowhere from Calypso to the face of Valaran and Amastacia there, who is able to recover with those quick knee strikes and another kick to the gut. Hoist up and big slam DDT into the ring, into the canvas. Calypso very dominant now. Another one of those big flying elbows. Though once again says, alright, Teresa, you're back. You're doing the work. Calypso not willing to carry the team today. And big swinging DDT from Valaran. Her athleticism really on display. Presrie taking the opportunity to get involved. Takes a big kick for her troubles, but that gave Valaran the opportunity to sneak in. Advantage on that positioning. Sends Teresa down to the ring and boom, big strike to the shoulder. Presrie sacrificing herself for that quick sneak attack by Valaran. As Calypso in the ring just watching on. Big, though, scissors from Teresa. Hauls Valaran back up to her feet, trying to get back into the ring perhaps as the ref hits that 7 count, and indeed hauls Valaran back into the ring. Teresa following back through. And going back over, tags back in Calypso perhaps. Oh no, perhaps going for a double team maneuver. Valaran able to fight out, but took a blow to the back of their head by Calypso there. And up and big bouncing body splash. Valaran quickly able to get through, but not paying the most attention to the ring positioning, unfortunately. Calypso very easily able to break that pinfall attempt up. Teresa catching that strike and now back in control herself. Working over the arm of Valaran. Going for the pinfall herself. Valaran, not enough damage done as of yet, able to power out of that at only a 1. Valaran making her quick escape, disengaging to the outside as Teresa tried to follow through and just face planting onto that wooden ship's decking as Valaran was no longer there. And just X-Factor plants Teresa into that wooden ship decking. Valaran very much a survivor. Knows when to hit, knows when to run, and that was a time to run, and we now have Presrie tagged in. The battered and bruised Teresa Dominguez DDT down in the middle of the ring. Teresa desperately needs to make a tag to her sister at this point. What does Presrie have in mind? Going up to the top rope? Or whatever she had in mind. Calypso wants no part of it, trying to protect her sister, but not able to get enough of a distraction there. Presrie still able to connect through with that big top rope down onto the prone Teresa Dominguez. Rolls through into a pinning predicament, but unfortunately for Presrie, Calypso able to make that, to break the pinfall. Valaran sending Calypso to the outside of the ring. If they can follow through, this may be an opportunity for this duo. But Presrie needs to get Teresa back into the ring and capitalize on the damage that's been done whilst Valaran has Calypso down on the outside. Interesting alternate approach by Presrie. Could she maybe going for a count-out victory herself? Hauling Teresa up the ramp. Teresa able to get a quick counter in. The ref's count is at 4. They have some time. Big strike blows. Teresa able to counter. And up and slams the back of Presrie down onto that concrete between our ramp. Ref's count is at 6. They need to get this action back into the ring. Meanwhile, the conflict that seemingly has broken out between Calypso and Valaran on the outside. Calypso damn near taking out the leg of Valaran Amastacia there as Presrie holds swift foot into the ring, and she just barely makes it in before that 9 count. Baited into a back elbow by Teresa. The Dominguez sisters now in very much control of this match. Are we going to see a tag attempt? And we are indeed, as Presrie hauls back to her feet. Calypso Dominguez, very fresh, now live. Or legal, I'm sorry. Taking down Presrie, watching around. What does Calypso have in mind? Big double foot stomp to the side of Presrie's head. into the arm. No arrows fired in this match if you can't pull a bowstring. And big, massive, beautiful looking flying elbow from the top rope. Can Calypso capitalize on that? That knocked the stuffing out of Presrie. Bounces her head off of the turnbuckle, but quick reverse strike there. Same move we saw from Valaran. Presrie learning from her partner. Locks in the armbar. Right in front of Teresa. Boots to the face, but that was a lot of damage done to Calypso's arm there by Presrie, who now has a grasp on Teresa. Slams her down to the match. Can she follow through with a quick pinfall while she has Teresa distracted? And she can. Will this be it? Can Calypso power through out of this? Just enough for the rope break. Excellent, powerful sequence there by Presrie. Unfortunately, ring positioning not working in her favor. Tags in Valaran. Valaran, can you get the job done? Calypso able to recover enough to dodge out of that attack by Valaran, and there she rolls through. She's got that guillotine locked in, choking out Valaran, but Presrie there with a double foot takedown to make sure that gets broken up. Big somersault splash from Calypso, and again Presrie is there to play spoiler, swarming her way into the ring. Another quick elbow strike from Valaran to break out of that grapple attempt by Calypso, and their double knees to the face quickly rolls through, but Teresa's right there, able to make the pinfall before Presrie is able to make it in that time. Very, very competitive match between these two teams. Having never teamed together before, we are seeing some relatively impressive teamwork from Presrie and Valaran. Clearly their ring styles working very well together, and big arrow strike from Presrie as Valaran held Calypso into position there. Abel just in time to get that tag. Calypso desperately needing some time to recover on the outside. Can Teresa capitalize? It is a 2-on-1 position, though, that Teresa has found herself in. Valaran easily able to make that. Calypso stunned on the outside. This is not a good position for Teresa to be in. Bounced and just draped through the head, just cutting through those the ring ropes. Gotta leave a burn on the neck of Teresa. And oh, we have the armbar locked in again. Calypso unable to make the save. Is Teresa going to tap out? She is too far away from the ropes for the break. It is all down to the stubbornness of Teresa Dominguez. Just barely able to make it through. That was a ton of damage to the arm of Teresa. Both of these sisters now having experienced that powerful armbar by Presrie. Teresa, though, now telling Presrie, get up. Giant splash from the top, wrenching the neck of Presrie. She is in terrible positioning, trapped in the opponent's corner. Can Valaran make it in time? She can. The sheer speed of Valaran Amastacia, able to damn near teleport across that ring in record time. Calypso finally able to recover. And oh, now it's Presrie's turn to have that arm wrenched. Teresa turning her attention to Valaran, who attempted to sends Valaran into the ref. And up and over goes Valaran. Teresa seemingly decided, well, if Presrie is going to be recovering on the outside, I may as well play with Valaran for a bit. Presrie indeed now had that moment to recover. And neck breaker down. Valaran making her way out of the ring. Presrie going and trying to knock Calypso out of the equation, perhaps to prevent breaking up a further pinfall attempt, but... Oh, and Valaran on the... Oh, and there goes Calypso. Slammed down the spine onto the hardest part of the ring, as Valaran, meanwhile, is taking the opportunity to work over Teresa on the other side. Coming back around, Presrie now just watching, waiting, quivering with anticipation as she waits for Teresa to get back to her feet and instead decides, nope, we're going to go for the knee strike. Teresa catches that blow. Spins around and big strike from the bare foot of Teresa Dominguez. Presrie knocked down and out on the outside as Teresa tries to send Valaran to join her. Presrie just able to get in at the 8 count. And there goes Valaran. Teresa returning the favor that Presrie pulled to her sister, knocking out Presrie's partner, excuse me. Down and maybe out. Repositioning Presrie slightly. What does Teresa have in mind here? Going up to the... Maybe going... No, she was just adjusting her positioning there a little bit. Not entirely certain what Teresa was going for there. Thinks better of whatever it was and tags in her sister. Calypso Dominguez is now legal. Sends... Oh, tried to send Presrie into the corner. Presrie able to counter. Hauling Presrie back over to her own corner where Valaran has recovered and is back up. Tag made. Going for the double team. What do these two have in mind? And they send up and over goes Calypso, sent flying. Valaran shoulder barges Teresa off, but Calypso able to make the roll to the outsides to recover. What does Valaran have in mind here? Big splash to Teresa. Not Calypso, seemingly trying to keep the other sister out. Taking that moment to taunt to the crowd. And face planting Calypso back down. Can she wrap this up before Teresa, is able to recover? Does not seem so. Oh, but she's baited and sends both sisters into the ring now. Trying to bait them into a charge, and I think Valaran got what she wanted, but maybe not the result she was hoping for. Valaran certainly angered the sisters there. Meanwhile, Teresa taking Presrie down off of the apron and now turning her attention back to Valaran with those quick strikes. And Presrie down on the outside. Valaran still in this, able to just survive that pinfall attempt. We've seen Valaran showboating bite her before. Not this time, apparently still able to power through. Tag. Hauling Valaran, up into that big slam. The sheer power of Teresa Dominguez. As she just, now it's her time to just taunt and wait. She says, I'm not worried about you, I'm just feeling tranquilo. But this may well be a mistake. No, I expected Valaran to try and tag out there, but Valaran not ready for that as yet another X Factor planting Teresa down into the ring canvas. Now she's going for that tag. Presrie D, legal. counters that charge from Teresa. Bounces off the ring, and oh, Teresa able to catch that quick knee strike there, able to counter that, now turning that into a momentum shift for her. Got that arm locked through, and a big suplex from Teresa Dominguez. She has something vicious in mind, waiting for Presrie to get to her feet, and oh, it's returning the favor. Armbar locked in. Armbar is locked in. Valaran charges in, able to break that up. The disrespect, the taunting from Teresa Dominguez, although I doubt anyone's really complaining too much. Up to the top rope. Waiting, baiting Presrie, telling her to get to her feet. What does Teresa have in mind? And there she goes again. Presrie down. Presrie eyes glazed over at this point. But Valaran's still there, able to play spoiler. Calypso has had enough of that. Sends Valaran to the outside. They need to capitalize on this while Calypso has Valaran distracted. Tying up and planting Presrie. She needs to go for an big double knee strike. Valaran is maybe out. Teresa needs to put this away now. Working the leg of Presrie. She needs to capitalize before Valaran can recover. Presrie able though to get a counter of her own. And over suplex. There goes Teresa. Presrie though alone in the ring right now. No ally to follow through on. Up and belly to belly from Presrie. Presrie maybe going to look for the tag there without realizing that Valaran's still recovering on the outside. Now back on her feet. Valaran finally able to recover and get back in. Presrie maybe seeing this, able to power out of that grapple attempt by Teresa. Tying her up in the ring ropes. Up and over. That suplex again from Presrie. Going for the tag, I believe. And indeed she is. Valaran is now legal. The sheer level of punishment Teresa Dominguez has taken in this match is truly impressive. Valaran now baiting, waiting for the older sister to get back to her knees, and overhand knee strike. That is not going to work, Valaran. Calypso is right there. You gotta get that into your own corner. And pulling up. Valaran, big 450 splash, but again, not paying attention to the ring positioning. She is focused on doing the damage. She's not focused on the follow-through. Presrie there to make a difference. Teresa able to get some momentum swing back in her favor now. And bouncing off that middle rope. Impressive air there, but not enough. Valaran able to roll out of the way, but still got caught in that grapple. Bounces Valaran off of the turnbuckle. Again, quick elbow strike to counter, but Calypso makes her suffer for it. Big swinging DDT again from Valaran to Teresa. Going for the pinfall. Calypso still able to get in there to break that up. A bit of a slow count there from the referee, I feel. Look at the athleticism on display by Teresa Dominguez, using Valaran as a springboard to jump up into the air, but her taunting gave Valaran the time she needed to tag in Presrie. Rolls through immediately into the pinfall. Calypso once again playing spoiler. Presrie seemingly furious, turning her attention to Calypso, trying to get her out of... Oh, and tried to go for... tried to shove Calypso off the rope there, but Calypso made Presrie suffer for it, choking her out. Calypso seemingly now baiting Presrie like a red flag to a bull. Presrie finally able to make her suffer for it, and up, and once again down onto the ring apron she goes. Tried to go for that flying elbow to Teresa, who had that scouted, able to dodge through. Elbow to the back of the head of Presrie. And elbow drop from the top to the back of Presrie there from Teresa. Following through again. Waiting for Presrie to get up. What does Teresa have in mind? Again, big overhead maneuver there. Valaran trying to play spoiler for it, but unable to interfere sufficiently. Going for the pinfall, but now it's Valaran's turn to come in and play spoiler. Neither of these teams willing to give an inch. Just waiting, knowing Presrie is trying to get to her team's corner. Teresa just planting herself between them, but too busy focused on that taunting again. She left enough of an opening for Presrie to just dive through, but Valaran caught in that powerful strike there by Teresa, who is finally getting Calypso back into the match. Valaran stunned... Sorry, Presrie stunned on the outside, Valaran stunned on the inside. Splash, that has to be it. I heard that crunch from all the way back here. 2 and 3. The Dangerous Alliance, once again, victorious. But what a showing from this team of Presrie and Valaran.
The Dangerous Alliance!
What an impressive showing from both of these teams. The Dangerous Alliance continuing their show of dominance here in All Influencer Wrestling. We're going to take just a moment to recover from that, and then we will be right back with our 4th debuting Clout Chaser, who will be in action against Big Magic Reynolds. Up next. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Captain Tyriant Guidel, most dashingly handsome pirate in all of Lumsalaminsa, and the Clout Missioner of All Influencer Wrestling. As a swashbuckling pirate, I know a thing or two about hats. And sometimes, even I feel the hats I own are just too big. So when I feel the need for minuscule millinery, there's only one place that comes to mind. tinyhatlabs.com. Tiny Hat Labs have always sought to push the boundaries of what's possible in client engagement millinery feedback solutions. Their guiding question remains the same today as it was when they were founded. What if small hat, but tiny? Operating at the nexus of science, engineering, artificial intelligence, art, fashion and design, Tiny Hat Labs seeks to pave the way to a paradigm shift in headpiece technology. While others ask, how much? tinyhatlabs.com asks, how little? I'm Captain Tyriant Guidel, and tinyhatlabs.com is my favourite place for hats on the internet.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Colorado, weighing in at 280 pounds, Big Magic Reynolds.
All influencer wrestling fun fact for you, all of the pyro utilized in Big Magic Reynolds' entrance was made by him in the lab. Up come the lights, the show is ready to start. His opponent, our fourth debuting Clout Chaser. An interesting matchup of styles this will be, although fairly similar vibes in the entrances, as you are about to see. Hailing from Vatican City, the Witch Hunter, Gabriel van Hessle. Our more magical aligned competitors here in AIW better keep their eye on this one. And we are off. Now you may note, unlike some of the other masked wrestlers we've seen come down to the ring, Gabriel van Hessle is still wearing his in the ring. We have no idea what he looks like under that mask. Big Magic Reynolds seemingly trying to welcome Gabriel to AIW the only way he knows how. Oh, Van Hessle able to counter that through. planting Reynolds down into the mat with a big DDT. Back elbow counter by Reynolds. And up and... oh, another counter by Van Hessle. Reynolds going for that slam, countered into another DDT. A wily competitor is Van Hessle. Strike across the back and through to the chest, and another feet stomp. Van Hessle now getting in control, going up to the top. What does he have in mind from here? Crow-like stalking of Reynolds from above. Waits for him to get up, and big double foot missile drop kick to the chest of Big Magic. Wrenching to the neck. Van Hessle very much in control now, diving onto the knee. Reynolds trying to get back into control, sends Van Hessle over the ring and haul him back in. Only down for a 1 count. Van Hessle not willing to go down that early in his debut match. And up, and the power of this Witch Hunter. Strike across the chest, and there he goes, trying to choke out Reynolds. And he has that choke hold locked in deep. Reynolds, though, able to power out. Looked like his eyes almost rolled to the back of his head there through lack of oxygen, but just able to get that last burst of strength to break the iron vice of the Witch Hunter, Van Hessle. Horns up, says Big Magic Reynolds. Big splash down onto the prone body of Van Hessle, and strike, strike. 2 big chops and a big scoop slam from Big Magic. Tried to go for another stomp. Van Hessle able to dodge with a big boot of his own. Trying to return the favor, Reynolds with another big boot, and Van Hessle saw that coming as the arms locked in for an overhead suplex, sending Reynolds flying. There are not many who have sent Big Magic Reynolds around the ring the way that Van Hessle is right now. And up, and power slam, but able to get the rope break, underestimating perhaps the sheer height of Big Magic Reynolds. Dangerous predicament, but his legs dangling far too close to the rope. And, oh, going for again back to the well with that drop kick, but Reynolds saw it coming that time. Pulls him up. And grapple breaks the hold, but big overhead strike to the back of Van Hessle by Big Magic Reynolds. Sends that plague mask into the knee. Hauls Van Hessle up. The sheer power of Big Magic Reynolds. He's just hurling the Witch Hunter around like a sack of XPS foam. Putting all of his weight down onto the arm. You can see the pain that Van Hessle now has in that elbow. He's taken a lot of blows to that down here on the outside. Bounces his head off of the ring post. Reynolds going back in. Refs count at 7. Breaks the count. Reynolds is not wanting it to end via count out. the number of witchy friends Big Magic Reynolds has, you have to imagine this particular match is a personal one for him. He wants to really send a message to any wannabe witch hunters out there. He is here to protect. Sends Van Hessle back into the ring. Follows back in, breaking that referee count. And up, and the Chew slams Van Hessle down. 1, 2. Van Hessle able to kick out. The Chew derailed. Reynolds cannot believe it. And choke slam, big maneuver there by Big Magic Reynolds. Is that going to do it? That put it away. The Chew didn't do it, the choke slam did. Welcome to All Influencer Wrestling, Gabriel Van Hessle. A personal matchup for Big Magic, looking to send a message to the witch hunter that perhaps he is not as welcome as he had hoped to be. But nonetheless, a strong showing for Gabriel out of the gate. It'll be very interesting to see how he gels with the rest of the roster. Speaking of the rest of the roster, we do have one more match coming before our main event. Another fresh debut from last week. You know him, you love him. It's the producer to the stars, DC Lasair, in action against a man who is out with something to prove. After his loss to Team Renaise at War Games, DC Lasair faces the Golden Ticket. Up next.
Luz tried everything to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Hammers, axes, magic, saws, more magic, fire, even more magic, and magic explosions. Still, the door refused her. Why? After all this time and effort, why wouldn't the damn thing open? Sure, it was an enchanted door that would open the path to a potentially catastrophic amount of magic pouring back into the universe, causing endless natural disasters that would drown or bury most cities from existence. But there was an equally high chance that wouldn't happen, and that the magic had been sealed away by ignorant fools for nothing. She had to believe there was a reason why she could tap into a sliver of the magic locked behind the door. That this was it, her singular life purpose. Open the door. Restore its magic back to everyone like it used to be in the stories, where anyone could use magic, for good or bad. That had to be it, right? That had to be why she was standing here, in the door's pocket dimension, on a small plot of earth, large enough for only one person to stand in front of it, swearing at this void black door with iridescent veins flowing along its surface like water, living, taunting her to just open it already. So why was it so hard to swing the damn thing wide? Somehow, she had shoved the door apart just a crack ages ago. A thin, wispy line of light seeped out of a seam down the centre. Whenever she used teleportation magic, as she had decided to call it since she didn't know the correct term and hadn't seen others use it before, probably because it was dangerous and required sliding through space and time, but who was counting? She tapped into a sliver of warmth and power to travel wherever she wished. She'd managed that slight opening unthinking as a child, then never again. What was she doing wrong now? Worse, what if she wasn't doing anything wrong? What if this door wasn't meant to open for her after all? What else could there be for her but this? After everything, after all that searching, what else could there be?
This has been an extract from The Void Door by V.M. Ayala. To read the full story, please visit beneath-ceaseless-skies.com and search for issue 378. And thank you for watching Masterpiece Theatre.
Welcome back, welcome back. Here he comes, the producer to the stars. DC Lasair, the Hatomancer himself.
The following is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring from parts unknown, weighing in at 219 pounds, DC.
You can try to knock that hat off his head, but the Hatomantic magic is far too strong. But you have to imagine the Golden Ticket is certainly going to try. Not in the best of moods since his loss at War Games at Clash for Charity. The rivalry with Renaise is done, but Ticket now is searching for his next target.
And his opponent from Authority Megacorp HQ, weighing in at 275 pounds, GP.
We haven't seen him since Clash for Charity. Golden Ticket is going to be looking to make a statement in this match. Will DC wind up staring up at that chest per dollar sign, or can he produce a victory out of this matchup? And we're off. Battle of the Hats. Golden Ticket powering through, just hoisting up DC and bouncing his head off of that corner turnbuckle. Elbow strike to break that bear hug attempt, but Ticket's able to return with strikes of his own, goes back and up and slams DC down to the mat. Up and kicky legs, but no, Ticket once again planting DC down onto the canvas. The sheer strength behind that clubbing blow. He's got the arms hooked and up and over he goes. And just hauls him back up the deadlift and running scoop slam. It goes for the pin. 1, 2. DC Lasair able to kick out. Ticket is dominant in this match. Sends DC over the top rope, plummeting down to the outside. The two meet there. Golden Ticket not able to take full advantage of that, but was attempting to show off a bit there. DC able to counter, rolls through into a pin predicament. 2, Almost got the 3. Would have been quite the upset victory there. But that seems to have caused the momentum shift that Lasair needed. Maybe not the greatest idea to take a moment to taunt right now. Gave up Golden Ticket an opportunity to retreat out of the ring. Waiting, baiting him back up, and dives through and catches dive through the middle rope. Sends Golden Ticket crashing down. Drives Golden Ticket down onto the side of the ring. And jumping straight into the shoulder of Golden Ticket. Momentum very much shifting back into DC Lasair's favor here. Big strike and drops that knee directly across the neck of Golden Ticket. Just absolutely stomping Golden Ticket on the outside. Ticket finally able to get a little bit of a counter there to get some momentum back. Sends DC back into the ring, follows up through. DC trying to seemingly knock Ticket right back out again, but not quite able to get enough purchase on it. Drops under, and the two meet and once again bounce off each other, neither able to really gain advantage from that run attempt. There again, working that shoulder seems to be the strategy of Lasair in this match. And down he goes. Shifting attention to the leg now of Golden Ticket. Multiple strikes there to that hip joint. As any good producer knows, audience participation is key. DC really working that before going back to working the hip of Golden Ticket. And wrenching him over, and he's got that locked in. That figure 4 leg lock is in. Golden Ticket tapping in this return match would be a humiliating way to come back, and punches his way out of that. Dodges out of the way of that splash attempt by DC, who then does the same in return, and counters. Drops Golden Ticket back down. Big running knee. Ticket staring up at the lights. 1, 2. Is this going to be it? It is. DC Lasair punches the Golden Ticket. Now that is how you produce a victory. Not the comeback Golden Ticket was going to be looking for. Double hats from the Hatomancer. How does a man like DC celebrate? 2 hats. We will be right back after that. We have 1 match left on tonight's card. It is our main event. It is to crown our first ever $1 million champion. Lucette Foster versus Jenneth Astorio. Tables, ladders, and chairs. We will be right back for that. Okay, I just murdered Vegeta with a truck. What the hell is this game? And she came down the stairs, breast in boobily.
I wasn't ready. Woo, that was good.
Nope. I looked at the map, went, where's the boss? Oh, it's that way, and immediately went in the wrong direction. If that is not a perfect example of my sense of direction, I don't know what is. You're the new farmer. I see. No offense, but you look like you've never held a tool in your life. Excuse me, Jim. I am well adept at holding my tool. Thank you very much.
The Full Guardian, not me.
The God Emperor made me do it!
The God Emperor made me do it. Yes. Oh, can I get away with yelling that in real life, please? You see it hanging above the ring, the $1 Shillion Championship belt.
Is a tables, ladders, and chairs match, and is for the Action Championship. Making her way to the ring from parts unknown, Jen.
She has cut a swathe through the competition in this tournament thus far. Jenneth Astorio, absolutely dominant showing from her in this $1 Shillion tournament. Did not start out with the greatest of luck in AIW, but she has absolutely turned her fortunes around and become one of the most dominant competitors in the entire promotion. 7 feet tall powerhouse. She is ready for that clout. But up against her, the opportunistic Lucette Foster.
From out of this world, the zombie.
Ace fighter pilot Lucette Foster, perhaps well suited for this type of stipulation match, retrieving that belt from up on high, something well in her wheelhouse. She's proven she is capable and willing to steal victories before. Darting up that ladder to retrieve the belt is very much in her abilities. And there it is. That's what they're here for. The $1 Shillion champion. Our first ever title holder will be crowned at the end of this match. Lucette stalks over, grapples up, and immediately knocking Lucette down to the ground. Disrespect towards her. These two have met before. Lucette has stolen victories out from under Jenneth's nose before. This is not just about winning that title for Jenneth, this is about revenge. Goes to immediately get that ladder. Lucette trying to swing through and knock Jenneth down, who seemingly just brushed that off. But there's that quick, high-flying offense of Lucette Foster, knocking Lucette down. Knocking Jenneth down, sorry. Trying to set the ladder up, Jenneth having absolutely none of it, and just slamming Lucette over her shoulders down to the mat. Somehow, Lucette, desperately trying to get Jenneth up onto her shoulders, had her there for a moment before thinking better of it. Tries to set that ladder up into the corner. And look at that, just up and slammed down, and the ladder falling down onto Lucette as well. We don't often see Jenneth go high flying, but that crashing down onto the body of Lucette Foster, that is going to hurt. And up and slam down, that thud onto that wooden decking. Table set up right there. Sending her away from it though, smashing into the ship's side decking and just punches raining down after. And back into it again, her back just cracking into that hard wood, and here comes the steel chair. Onto the leg of Lucette. Smart move there by Jenneth. This isn't just fury. By taking out the legs of Lucette, that is going to make it much harder for her to climb that ladder and retrieve that title belt. Oh, damn near breaking Lucette in half over the ring apron. Going back for that steel chair. I think Jenneth thought maybe of going for the belt and decided no, she wants to inflict a bit more pain. But Lucette crashing out of nowhere with that big drop kick. She goes trying to set the ladder back up again, but Jenneth is right there to play spoiler. Just hoiling her out of that ring. And just taking a moment to bask in the crowd. Bask in what she has to see as her inevitable victory. This may well be Jenneth going for it. She is indeed climbing that ladder. 7 feet tall. She doesn't need to get too high up there. And oh, Lucette knocking that ladder down. And oh, Jenneth's back down onto that fallen ladder, guided through by Lucette. Lucette desperately trying to punch her way free from that back, and she is able to do so. What does Lucette have in mind here? Trying to tie Jenneth up into the ropes for a quick strike to the gut. Going and setting that ladder up again. Lucette continually going to try and set that ladder up in the corner. She clearly has something in mind for use there. Bouncing off of that top rope to try and reach the head of Jenneth, and she's able to do so. Quickly diving her way back out of the ring. She's going for a weapon. She is indeed. She's gone to retrieve that steel chair whilst Jenneth has retrieved the ladder. I'm pretty sure Jenneth Astorio won that particular arms race. After bumping Lucette down to the floor, going once again for that title belt. Lucette climbing up after her. Strikes to the knee. She's desperately trying to get Jenneth's hands off of that belt before she can retrieve it. Strength, not Lucette's strong point, but she is able to at least get enough damage to distract Jenneth, who just takes a blow to the neck for her troubles. Oh, and I heard that bouncing Lucette's head twice off the top of that steel ladder and just sends her crashing down. And back up. That may well be it. That may well be it, unless Lucette can recover very quickly. I think she's done it. She has done it. Lucette not able to recover in time. Jenneth Astorio retrieved that belt. No messing around. She's had too many victories stolen out from under her by Lucette before. There she is. Our inaugural $1 million champion, Jenneth Astorio. And we already know who her first contender will be after the victory over Candy Holiday earlier tonight. Aria Nightvalley now knows what she has to do to get her hands on that belt. Meanwhile, Renaise Crimson earning his title shot against Abel Therron earlier tonight, although in slightly contentious fashion. We'll see how that plays out. The tag division, meanwhile, is starting to really heat up here. What an eventful, hard-fought show we have for you here tonight. We will be back next week with more of the same, more title defenses, more clout chasing, I have been your Clout Missioner, Captain Tyrion Guidal. We'll see you back here next Thursday for another thrilling installment of All Influencer Wrestling Broadside. And as always, remember to stay #out for clout.